For the 5A quilted maple top, I've got some transtints here that I'm going to be playing with: dark walnut, reddish brown, and lemon yellow. And I've been asked why I haven't been using transtints in denatured alcohol. So I've got some denatured alcohol here. I'm going to try this out. I've got 3 containers. I'm going to fill enough of this to about a quarter of the way. Today we're going to start with the dark walnut first, then we're going to move to the reddish brown, then we're going to move to the lemon yellow. I'm going to put 10 drops into each solution and see what the strength is. Play with it on the body, that way I could sand it off if it doesn't look right. And we're going to do this all in one shot here and see how this goes. Alright, so here's 10 drops of the reddish brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's the yellow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And finally the dark walnut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll just stir these around for a second. So we'll line these up: dark brown, reddish brown, and yellow. So we'll start with the dark first. We'll dip this in, we'll soak this up as much as we can. We don't want it to drip. Of course it's not dark enough. Sort of knew that going in. I think usually if I do this, it's about 40 drops. This will give me an idea of the coloring. Also, if I need more sanding. And so I've got a water-based sanding sealer for the binding, and what's nice is I can just scrape some of this off if anything gets on it, and I still got my binding, no issues. And after much deliberation, I decided to go with brown and red again, only because I really want to try and get that tiger's eye right. That's one of my most common requests. I usually use water-based with the trans tint, but we were trying something new. The figure is just outstanding on this piece of wood. So I really dipped it in this last time, picked up a lot more color. You can see the spillover right there, but it's just on the spot I masked off, and I know I can scrape it off if I've got any issues. And I went with those 3 coats of sanding sealer because then I know I've got a nice buildup. Let's see if I can really get this darker. And I'm definitely going to have to add more color. But this stuff is sitting on the top, so now I'll be able to fade it properly to get it to look right. You can see here, definitely need a little bit more sanding on this top as well. Alright, so there's the dark brown. Normally I'd change out my gloves, but this is such a light coat. I'm just going to go straight to the red. And even this is light too. And the more color you have, the more highlighting that's going to happen. And this is definitely picking up a little bit of brown as I'm rubbing it through. So definitely needs more brown. The red actually isn't too bad. I don't want it too red. And we'll take this yellow rag. We'll just put it on the top and see what happens. So I've got my yellow here. I always know I got to add more yellow to this. And so we'll do the burst here in the middle. This is what I love about playing with high figured tops. Is even a little bit of color makes it look unbelievably awesome. So you can already see that sort of tiger eye where I've got the brown and then the yellow is highlighted. So once I add a really dark brown, sand it, and then hit it with the yellow, it'll really pop. It'll really look like that tiger. But you can see how much brown is being picked up here. So we'll let this sit. I can see I need to sand here. Not too much here. And mainly right here actually, just in this upper corner I missed. Alright, so 24 hours later here, and the trans tint is actually sort of pulling. If you look on their website, it says to actually mix denatured alcohol with lacquer thinner. I forgot that that had that call out from when I was doing this a couple years ago with the trans tints. So I'm going to take these trays and I'm going to add a little bit of lacquer thinner and then add some more drops for the dark brown and redo this and see how this turns out. So I've got each of my cups here. We're going to add a little bit of lacquer thinner, probably about as same amount as before. This is definitely not as exact, but we'll see if this works. If not, we'll go back to the Angelus dyes. So here's the dark walnut. We'll do 30 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. The same thing with the reddish brown. But I think the red was okay, so we'll only add 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Since I want the yellow to really pop, we're going to add 20. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. We'll mix these up and get it set here. So I'm going back with the brown. the lacquer thinner and the brown and the denatured alcohol, it's not spotty, which is great, but surprisingly it actually picked up the grain a little bit. So I've got my hand sander and some 320, and I'm going to go through and clean this up. Alright, so once we're sanded here, we'll come back with some yellow. Got the same rag, same dip from before. And I'm not going to put the red on yet. I want to just see what the brown and yellow look like. This is what the Tiger Eye really excels at, so let's see. Picking up a lot of brown, which I knew was going to happen. We'll turn it. And this is the famous Tiger Eye, which is usually just a brown and yellow. I can already see it's drying splotchy in a couple spots, so I'll just keep going over it here. And get it to blend in right. I probably could have gone much more yellow with this. But that looks outstanding. Love the brown and the yellow. It's one of my favorites. You can see as it's drying, I didn't notice this when I was doing this yesterday with the brown, but you can see it dry and the pigment just sort of sits differently. So even with the thinner and the alcohol, it's still not drying like I'd like it to. I think I like the coloring. But I'm definitely not happy with how it's sort of fading in here. What I can also do is let this dry, hit it with some steel wool, come back, put another coat of yellow on, and it'll look a lot different as well. It's the thing with playing with this stuff. It's a lot of back and forth. Probably what I should do with this top is actually just go through all the different range of colors and show what just straight colors look like on this top. I think that would be really helpful for you guys just to see what a straight color out of the bottle looks like. So you get an idea of just the wood and the coloring. Every piece of wood has its own sort of natural tendencies to show color better than the other. Depending on how thick you put the coat on, you'll get different looks. So let's play around with some red, see what some red does to this. Definitely know some of you guys are going to say you should have just left it, but there's no fun playing with it here. So we'll just fade it on the top. Actually, that gives it some really nice warm hues. So you can see as the yellow is drying, it's pulling the colors back up. I actually like the red and the brown better than just the yellow and the brown. And here we're just sort of fading the colors in. So we're going to let this sit. This is the 50% denatured alcohol and 50% thinner. Really not happy with the way that the color is pulling back up even after following their instructions. I really do like trans tints and water-based. That's when I get some really cool popping, especially in burl. But with this quilted maple, since this is such a heavy figured piece of wood, sometimes I was reading that trans tint works better on plain wood versus figured wood. So I think I'm actually going to sand all of this off and come back with my Angelus leather dye. I know it'll ruin my faux binding, which I'm okay with, but I know the colors will pop a lot better with the Angelus just based on this figure. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll try it again here shortly and see if we can get this to look a little better.